He's a 5-time Mr. Universe, 2-term governor of California, and now he lives in a petting zoo. That's not a joke. That's just Arnold Schwarzenegger being Arnold. But behind the larger-than-life persona is a man who's just as bold in his opinions as he is with a barbell. In a recent interview, Arnold sat down to reflect on politics, protests, MichaelJackson showing up for lunch 3 days in a row, and his surprisingly awkward attempts at dancing. And yes, we'll get to that deadlift competition in front of his childhood home. But this isn't just a nostalgic celebrity chat. Arnold calls out both Democrats and Republicans, shares why he once feared being deported, and explains why America, no matter how chaotic, is still the greatest country in the world. Whether you agree with him or not, there's something magnetic about the way Schwarzenegger talks. It's honest, it's bold, and sometimes it's flat-out bizarre. But through it all, one thing becomes clear. This man still knows how to command a room. When the topic shifts to today's headlines, protests, chaos, and what looks like a city on fire, Arnold doesn't hold back. They make it out like it's a war zone, he says, shaking his head. But the truth? It's maybe 0.01% of Los Angeles. That's it. He's not downplaying the protests. He's just tired of the media twisting reality into spectacle. According to Arnold, the danger isn't just in the streets. It's in the perception. I don't want tourism to die just because the news wants a dramatic montage. He's got a point. With social media clips and 24/7 news coverage, it's easy to believe an entire city is burning, when in reality, it's a single block. But Arnold's bigger concern isn't what's shown, it's what's being ignored. He argues that these problems aren't new. They're ignored until they explode. And when they do, politicians act shocked. This wouldn't happen if they actually did their jobs, he says, but they don't. That's when Arnold begins turning up the heat, not just on the media, but on the entire political system. And he's just getting started. If the politicians did their work, none of this would be happening. Arnold says it like it's the most obvious thing in the world, and maybe it is. But when he digs into the immigration issue, his frustration becomes crystal clear. For nearly 4 decades, he points out, both Republicans and Democrats have promised comprehensive immigration reform. And for 4 decades, they've done nothing. Why? Because they don't want to solve it, Arnold says. They use it to raise money. That's it. Instead of fixing the problem, he says, they point fingers and expect voters not to notice. Then they act surprised when we start using our middle finger back at them. It's classic Schwarzenegger, sharp, simple, and just a little dangerous. He doesn't let his own party off the hook either. Even though I'm a Republican, he says, I'm disappointed. We didn't elect party servants. We elected public servants. But that's not what we're getting. Then comes a moment of unexpected honesty. Arnold breaks down how the very symbols of the two parties, the donkey and the elephant, sum up the mess perfectly. A donkey's a jackass, and wherever the elephant goes, it leaves a pile of dump. It's not just a punchline, it's a warning. Arnold isn't here to play nice with party lines. He's here to call out the gridlock, the showboating, and the endless cycle of blame. And his next story, about his own fear of being deported, proves just how personal this is for him. It might sound like a joke, but Arnold Schwarzenegger once genuinely feared he'd be deported from the United States. Not for any crime, not for overstaying a visa, but for making a terrible movie. There was a moment, he says, where the critics trashed it so bad, I thought they were going to send me back to Austria. He laughs now, but the fear was real. and it's a clever way to introduce a much deeper issue: the broken immigration system. Arnold quickly turns serious. There are families in this country right now who live in constant fear. They've been here 25 years, never broken the law, raised kids, worked jobs, and still, they're afraid they'll be kicked out. His solution? Real reform. Not slogans, not finger-pointing. Just smart, structured immigration policy. We need to hand out more visas, more green cards, more working permits. And yes, a path to citizenship for the people who deserve it. His voice sharpens. We need to know who's coming into the country, instead of ignoring it until something goes wrong. Arnold believes the system can work if politicians stop using it as a political football. He points to the McCain-Kennedy immigration bill that almost passed years ago, calling it a real plan that could have changed everything. But it died in the swamp of partisanship. To him, this isn't just policy. It's personal. He's lived the fear. He's seen the dysfunction, and he's had enough. Up next, Arnold squares off with Donald Trump and weighs in on what happens when federal threats clash with California pride. When the conversation turns to Donald Trump's threats to withhold federal funding from California schools, including those for disabled students, Arnold doesn't mince words. It sounds easy, right? Just stop paying the feds, he says, eyebrows raised. But that's not how it works. Every person in California pays federal taxes, state taxes, local taxes. You can't just stop paying one without serious consequences. He frames the whole thing as political theater, all dialogue, all rhetoric. The left attacks the right fires back. But in the end, no real progress happens. They need to stop pointing fingers and start working together, Arnold insists. That's what the American people want. Then he delivers a sharp critique of the current administration. Our president doesn't want this problem solved. He wants to create problems. But Arnold doesn't just criticize. He offers perspective. Having lived through America's turbulent 1968, with assassinations, riots, and political scandals, he reminds us, America always comes out of the mess. It's a call for patience and resilience, even when the headlines scream otherwise. Because despite the chaos, Arnold believes the American spirit endures, and he's proof. Arnold has seen America at its toughest. He recalls the chaos of 1968, the year Martin Luther King Jr. and Bobby Kennedy were assassinated, the streets filled with protests and riots, and the Watergate scandal shaking the nation's foundation. I came here during one of the hardest times in American history, he says. And yet, this country found a way to pull through. America will always get out of the mess. It's a reminder that no matter how bad things seem, the spirit of this nation is stronger than its challenges. And Arnold knows this firsthand. He's lived the immigrant dream and seen how America's promise can change lives. He shares a story from a recent trip to Europe where people still ask him, Arnold, can you help me get to America? It's a testament to the country's enduring appeal, despite the headlines and hardships. This is the greatest country in the world, he says. No matter who's leading, people will always come here because they believe in the American dream. His hope is clear, that America can continue to be a land of opportunity and generosity, the place that welcomed him and helped him achieve everything he has. Arnold's life isn't all politics and protests. He's also the guy who turns his childhood home into a fitness playground. Imagine this, 150 people deadlifting right in front of the Schwarzenegger Museum, lifting hundreds of pounds with pure determination. That was amazing, Arnold says with a smile. One woman was lifting over 300 pounds, and the guys were pushing past 500. It's not just about muscle. It's about community, inspiration, and the drive to live better. That's the heart of the Arnold Pump Club. It's more than a gym. It's a movement to encourage people to stay fit, chase goals, and find happiness in the process. And yes, Arnold even jokes about a plump club for those who might need a little extra motivation. Then there's the surprising twist. Arnold, the bodybuilding legend, admits he's a terrible dancer. But when the cameras started rolling for season 2 of his show, he threw himself into rehearsals, 6 or 7 days a week, until he could keep up. Dancing? Not my thing, he laughs. But I'm willing to work hard for it. It's a reminder that even a legend like Arnold isn't perfect, but his dedication and willingness to learn keep him moving forward, on screen and in life. Arnold Schwarzenegger's story isn't just about politics or fitness. It's filled with unforgettable moments, alongside some of the world's biggest stars. Take MichaelJackson, for example. During the filming of Jingle All the Way, the King of Pop showed up not once, but 3 days in a row to have lunch in Arnold's trailer. He loved the idea of the movie, Arnold recalls, and he was very particular about his diet. He even brought his own chef. The image is striking. The world's biggest pop icon, quietly sitting in a motorhome, focused on staying lean and healthy. Arnold remembers MJ as shy, low-key, but genuinely kind. And then there's Lucille Ball, the queen of classic TV. One day while Arnold was working out, he got a call from Lucy herself. She'd seen him on the Merv Griffin show and wanted him for her 2-hour special. She said, "I love your energy. Come to the studio tomorrow." On set, the legendary actress surprised Arnold by tossing out the script and encouraging improv. When she jokingly said, "Take off your clothes," it was all part of her unique, playful style. These stories remind us that Arnold's rise was never just about muscles or politics. It was about connections, risks, and sometimes a little bit of luck, plus a lot of hard work.